Hello, I'm Adam Barralet and welcome to our monthly astrological forecast where we're going to look at what's happening up in the heavens, how those energy shifts are going to impact us here on the planet, and how we can lean into Mother Earth to actually navigate our way through and thrive during the different times. Now, smack bang at the start of July, we have our first retrograde on the 1st of July, and that is Neptune goes into retrograde. Now, Neptune is the planet of beauty and aesthetics and inspiration. Neptune is the planet that when it is favorable in our chart or when it's traveling direct in our in the solar system, then we feel inspired by life, we feel uplifted by life, we kind of have this ideal vision that's very like watery and beautiful. Neptune also governs the arts, so photography, fashion, music, performance, comedy, all those different types of things that just kind of make us clutch our heart and go, life is beautiful. When Neptune is direct, it's almost as though we have those rose-colored glasses on and we see everything beautifully in life. So what happens when Neptune goes into retrograde as of today and those rose-colored glasses come off? Well, it's reality check time. We start to realize that what's actually been happening in our lives, maybe we've been kind of putting up with too much. Maybe we've been sweeping things under the rug and not actually dealing with the harsh realities. Maybe you've been settling for substandard relationships, substandard work, or substandard health, or different opportunities in your life. And this is your chance to actually realize what's truly happening. Now, this harsh reality may feel a little bit shocking at the start, and you may not really enjoy Neptune retrograde. But like every retrograde, there's an opportunity here, an opportunity to realize how life truly is, and then start creating your ideal vision for the world as a reality, rather than pretending that everything's okay. As spiritual people, sometimes we tend to go, love and light, love and light, love and light, and we gloss over everything. But a dog poo covered in glitter is still dog poo. And it's time to cleanse all that out and bring that beautiful life and start manifesting that. Now we can lean into some beautiful crystals, and my favorite crystals for Neptune retrograde. The first one, you can see I've already got mine on, it's aquamarine. Aquamarine, of course, brings in that watery energy because Neptune is named after the Roman god of the oceans, known as Poseidon by the Greeks. And so it brings a bit of Neptunian energy while his energy is absent during the retrograde. But this is also a really beautiful cleansing crystal. It helps us to cleanse out what's not serving us in our life or what we're clinging onto, trying to make beautiful when we know it's not quite right. Aquamarine is also said to be the favorite crystal of the merfolk, of the mermaids and the mermen. And we know that they are the epitome of beauty. So if you want to bring more beauty into your life and have that truly inspirational life, which is Neptune's true desire for you, then leaning into the favorite crystal of the merfolk is going to be really favorable as well. The other crystal that you might want to reach for is Amazonite. Amazonite is named after the beautiful flowing strength of the Amazon river, the beautiful power of the rainforest, and those strong Amazonian women as well. It's a really beautiful crystal for helping us to have strength, but gentle strength, and to start creating that life and be empowered to create that life in a beautiful way, and that's very much Neptunian's kind of euphoric energy. Now, when it comes to essential oils, my favorite essential oil for working with Neptune retrograde is celery seed. Now, we know the many benefits of celery juice and how it can be really great for our digestive system, and we do have to be wary because it's quite an absorbent vegetable, and it can absorb a lot of rubbish even if it's grown organically in transportation and even sitting in the store. Celery seed, if you get a great one like this one here that I love to use, can be used as a substitute. It doesn't have the mineral salts, but it still has a great cleansing and fortifying and optimization kind of properties for the entire digestive system. Helps us to cleanse out. And what an oil does physically, it's going to help you do metaphysically as well. This is going to help you to cleanse out all that you can't deal with in life, all things that you haven't been digesting in life, and to create a more beautiful life. It's a really great oil to help if you find yourself stuck in comparison, going, I want my life to be like that. And, you know, we want to look at why we like other people's lives because that gives us an indication of what we truly desire. But we also don't want to feel that our life is not good or not good enough. We want to create our own vision of beauty, and celery seed allows us to do that. Celery, especially wild celery, where celery seed essential oil comes from, does require and normally grows near water environments, and thus also has that link into that Neptunian energy as well. So I love to pop this in a green smoothie. I'll pop it in a veggie cap or flavor of soup with it, and just getting that in or even diffusing it can be really, really beautiful. Mixing it with something like blue lotus, rosalina, sweet gum, all these different oils all have a Neptunian energy and can help you during that Neptune time. Now, in just a couple of days' time, we actually have our full moon. Our full moon this month is in Capricorn. Capricorn is the sign of our job, of our career, of our public life, and our legacy. It is the imprint we leave on this world, not with the people we're closest to, but onto the greater good. And this is a great time to think about, what do I want to do in this world and how do I want to be remembered? At my funeral, what do I want people to say about me, and what legacy do I want to leave? So we start to work with the universe, and of course the full moon is a time of creation and birthing new different things, because the masculine and feminine energies are in balance, with the moon on one side of the earth and the sun directly on the other. And so what do you want to do? This is a great time to, you may want to change jobs, you may want to change careers, you may want a promotion, or you may want to do something that's more in line with your life's work and what you're here, or what you feel you're here to do and contribute to this world. So the crystal that I love to work with on the full moon in Capricorn is Natrolite. Natrolite is a high vibration, rare, white or clear crystal, which has a real springtime and enthusiastic energy. It's really great for those who want to achieve large amounts in their life, want to get a lot done. It gives you that vitality to do that. And for you to leave an amazing legacy, sometimes there's lots of work to be done, and Natrolite supports you in that. The essential oil that I'll be working with around the full moon is Siberian fir. Now, Siberian fir, obviously the tree grows in the boreal forest of Siberia and spends a lot of its time covered in snow. And the snow has something to do with the medicine of this essential oil. Now, I feel that snow is like the physical manifestation of white light. If you think we use white light to come down, cleanse, remove all the unwanted, and help with healing and new manifestations and new life and growth in our lives. Well, what does snow do? When it falls, it creates that time of cleansing. It gets rid of all the dead and the old, and it creates silence for us to introspect, which is great to do on a full moon. And then, as it melts, it brings new life. So when we work with Siberian fir, we're bringing in the power of snow, the power of getting rid of what doesn't serve us, of cleansing, of silence, of contemplation, of strength, of fortitude, and then, when ready, delivering and bringing newness into our lives. In order for you to go on the next step, it's really great oil for you to kind of lean into and work with during this full moon period. Now, things will be kind of quiet in the heavens for a couple of weeks until the 17th of July. That's when we have our new moon, so we're going to start a new lunar cycle. This will be in the opposing sign of Capricorn. It'll be in Cancer. So whereas Capricorn is to do with our public life and what we do for work, Cancer is to do with our home life and what we kind of do at home. This is to do with our actual house, our dwelling, as well as our blood family, and the family we choose as well. So this is where we make the new moon as a time for evaluating how our home's going, how our home life is going, how our family life is going, and setting new intentions. This is a really great time to just kind of check in and go, how can I up-level my relationships with those that I care the most with and feel most comfortable around? This is about making sure you feel comfortable and have something you can lean back into. So this is a really great time to lean into Black Moonstone. Black crystals are great to work with around the new moon because they bring that introspective and inner kind of energy, which the new moon is all about. Black Moonstone has this really great link also to the goddess Hecate. Now, Hecate is the goddess of all-knowingness, and she's a very old goddess who sees everything that happens on Earth. When we work with this around the new moon, it allows us to really connect in with our home and those we care about the most and see what we need to see. In the busyness of life, sometimes we're so obsessed with what's happening in our lives that we don't realize what's happening in others. It allows us to open up our perspective. Cancer is also a sign of great intuition, and you may find your intuition is heightened around this new moon, and Black Moonstone will help with that as well. Now, to help create that sense of feeling comfortable and feeling embraced, lean into the essential oil of Black Spruce. Black Spruce's Latin name is Picea Mariana, and Mariana is a reference to Mother Mary. So sometimes when we're feeling like we're not being comforted by our home and our home life, this is a really nice kind of one to support us, to feel like the Heavenly Mother is wrapping her arms around us and supporting us, no matter which goddess you feel an affinity with. This is also a really great essential oil that I love to apply to my feet, onto my adrenals, so the lower back, and also in my diffuser when I'm exhausted, when I'm out there in the world giving so much that I'm not actually comforting myself and coming home to myself. So at this new moon in Cancer, come home to yourself, come home to your house, your dwelling, and come home to your family. Support yourself so that you can be the best out in the world as well. You'll definitely need that support around the 17th of July as we gear up for the 23rd of July. Now, if you need to mark one day in your calendars this month, 23rd of July is going to be it. Why is that? We have 3 retrogrades happening on the same day, and so there's going to be a lot of different energy shifts. Let me talk you through them. The first, and probably the most major, will be Venus retrograde. Venus will be in retrograde for around 40 days, and we know that Venus is to do with love, beauty, and interpersonal relationships. When Venus goes into retrograde, what happens is we start to feel, because her influence is taken away during this time, we start to feel relationships cool off a little bit. We all kind of retreat back into our own little caves. This is a great time to actually do a bit of a cost-benefit analysis of not just your romantic relationship, but of all the relationships in your life. By taking a step back, we look at that and realize that sometimes these relationships aren't exactly what they should be. Some of them bring great benefit to us, and we go back after Venus retrograde loving each other a little bit more. But sometimes we realize that they're costing us more than we're receiving from them, and we realize also that we may need to kind of make some changes in our lives in where we're devoting our time, our energy, and our love. This is a really great time for you to realize, at the end of the day, these are the best relationships for me, and these are nurturing my growth, and these are not. You may also find during Venus retrograde, ex-lovers and ex-friends may come back, which will allow you to resolve unfinished business. Because everyone's feeling a little bit unloved during Venus retrograde, people are more open to those deeper, meaningful conversations, and for being forgiving, and also for saying sorry as well. Venus also governs taste, so be careful because you're feeling unloved. Don't go out and splash lots of money, buy luxury goods, change your appearance, or redecorate your house. Because Venus isn't there to support us in having our good taste, we may make some decisions and some poor judgments during Venus retrograde that we end up regretting later. Now, when it comes to Venus retrograde, it may seem stereotypical, but good old rose quartz is going to be great. Rose quartz brings in that gentle, loving energy. It's not about passionate energy, it's about that gentleness. And you may feel that you lack a little bit of that during this time. In fact, during Venus retrograde is a really great time because you and your partner may take a little step back to work out how can I love myself and not rely on my partner too much. Rose quartz is also a stone of friendship and of forgiveness in opening up our heart and being a little bit gentler and kinder as well. So it can be really quite beneficial to have its energy around during Venus retrograde. We also want to bring in rose essential oil. Again, it may seem stereotypical, but rose is not just an oil of love, it's the oil of unconditional love. It's the oil of loving people for who they truly are rather than who you want them to be. And as we kind of analyze the love of our life and the loves of our life, this can be a really beautiful one to actually make sure that we're loving people for who they are and not getting upset when they're not meeting our expectations. I should note as well, when it comes to Venus retrograde, if you're single, you may find that those that are around you or those that you kind of possible dates will dry up a little bit, or you may have some dating experiences will actually help you to realize, maybe I'm going for the wrong person, or maybe my standards are either too low or too high. Now, not only is Venus going into retrograde on the 23rd of July, but also Chiron is. Chiron is an astrological body named after a centaur who was abandoned by his parents, but then refused to take that as a bad start to life and came under the wing of the god Apollo and became a great healer, a great performer, a great warrior, and ended up teaching Greek warriors such as Achilles and Jason. Chiron in our chart represents where we have an injury that may have happened earlier in our lives that keeps tripping us up until we realize that it's our strength. Just as Chiron refused to let his abandonment as a child rule out his life, and he being abandoned, you'd feel unimportant, he became very, very important to many, many people, being such a great warrior, musician, healer, and teacher. You can do the same when you realize that what happened to you as a child, that core wound, can actually serve you to become a better contributor to the universe. If you're a woman, that experience allows you to help other women. If you're part of the queer community, you are more equipped to help someone in the queer community than someone who is not. All different experiences. If you've gone through, a war, if you've gone through divorce, if you've gone through, eating issues, all these different kind of things, you are then equipped to help other people and be of service because of that experience as well. It's really great to jump on and look at your Chiron sign. Look at where your core injury is, because this will give you a real kind of indication of what happened to you as a child, what will always trip you up, and if you can master it, it can actually become your strength. For example, my Chiron is in Taurus, and Taurus is all about money. And so what happens is I'm always worried and always tripping up with money. But because of this, I've become very good at managing money and generating income if I need to pay for an expense. Now, what do we work with during Chiron retrograde? I'm going to give you a few different options. So the first option is Ibis Jasper. I've got a great video on Ibis Jasper. Check it out on my YouTube channel. This is all about mending and healing. It's a brachiated jasper that's been broken apart and knitted back together and becomes stronger through that as well. Ibis, which is named after the Madagascan ibis, which they share similar colors. Ibises are birds of wisdom. So it's about gaining wisdom through the injuries, the hurts, the wounds that happen in our life. Now, Helichrysum is an oil that's often called liquid stitches. If I cut myself or get a bruise, this goes straight on, and it's amazing how quickly it knits together. When I had my oral surgery a while ago, this was one that helped to speed up, probably doubled or halved the time of my recovery by doubling the speed at which everything was knitting back together. What it does physically, it's going to do metaphysically as well. And so you want to have your Helichrysum and your Ibis Jasper to speed any healing. Now, if you feel that with the healing you need to let something go, then reach in to, first of all, your Quattro. 5 different crystals all growing together that help you realize what's happened, to understand it, to accept it, release it, and feel comforted. And check out my video on Quattro to really dive into this amazing crystal, which is 5 different crystals all growing together, discovered in Namibia in 1996. Pair that with Yarrow. Yarrow is actually associated with Chiron as well as Achilles, and it's very much all about purging, about calmness, about guidance, and about strength, and really helps you to heal through these different things that will happen or come up for you during Chiron retrograde. During Chiron retrograde, you may feel that someone is throwing salt on that wound, and that will come up to haunt you once again. But you've got this time. You can do it. Look at what the injury is, look at the lesson there, and find out how to master it. Now, the final combination is Charoite, which actually allows us to work out what we're meant to be doing in our lives. If you're feeling lost, or that you're not sure which direction to take, especially around that full moon in Capricorn, you're feeling really lost, Charoite's really great to work out, what is my life purpose? Now, combine this with Oudh essential oil. Now, Oudh, or agar wood essential oil, is produced by a tree when it's infected by a parasite. So you don't just get it from the tree normally, it must be infected by this parasite. So when something bad happens to the tree, it turns that into something good. And that is the lesson of Oudh. It's also a very spiritual oil and helps to guide you on your spiritual path. So combining that with Charoite can also be really helpful during Chiron retrograde. Now, I said there were 3 retrogrades. There's still one more to come. It's Eris. Eris is the contender for being the 10th planet. Out near Pluto, it is smaller yet heavier than Pluto, and is named after the goddess of chaos and strife. Now, she normally brings revolutions and changes into our life, shakes things up and makes it a little bit different. And when she goes into retrograde, suddenly what happens is she can kind of shake things a little bit more. What is the benefit of her shaking things up? Well, just like any retrograde, it allows us to see things for as they truly are. And the fact that she is going retrograde at the same time as Chiron and Venus means that there will probably be some quite dramatic shake-ups in your life. Depending on where you are in your life, you may notice it mildly or majorly. But remember that these shake-ups are to show you the idea of Eros is, if I can change something and I can let go of old habits and things that aren't serving us, then I can evolve. So you can really see how there's this whole theme around this 23rd of letting go of things and bringing new things in. During Eris, it's really great to work with cardamom. Cardamom is an essential oil that's great for the respiratory system to help with congestion. It's great for the digestive system to help with anything that's not flowing there. It's great for circulation to get the blood flowing, and it's an aphrodisiac to get a bit of love going as well. It helps to get that fiery, frustrated energy that can come when Eris goes into retrograde. Things aren't changing, or things are getting, or things aren't right, or I'm feeling stuck. to get things flowing as well. Pair that with some red tourmaline, which is both grounding and energizing. So really, really powerful to work with during Eris retrograde. So the 23rd is going to be the big day, but you've got Neptune retrograde giving you a bit of a reality check at the start of the month. You've got the beautiful lunar cycle looking at how we are, giving to the world in our public life in the full moon in Capricorn, and how we're being supported and supporting those in our private and home life with the new moon in Cancer. So enjoy July. Remember that all retrogrades and all shifts are an opportunity for you to up level and upgrade your life, to evolve and let go of what no longer serves you, to not become stagnant. Because if we look in nature, if something is not growing, it's not stagnant. Nothing is stagnant. Even rocks and crystals are either growing or they're decaying. So if you're not growing, I don't want you decaying. Lean into the lessons this month, lean into the gifts of Mother Nature to support you, and I will talk to you really soon. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I'm Adam Barralet, Crystal Connections. Blessed be.